Yesterday,
Igor, you were saying also the closer to the equator you are, the better propagation that you would be getting, or did I hear wrong there?
Absolutely right. Because as far as you're located on the equator, in this case, ionization in this area will be higher than, for example, polar zone.
Mm-hmm.
And this is dream of the contesters, like to operate from the equator area, because you can operate all the time, including 28 megahertz, 15 megahertz. When, for example, I'm traveling often to the north, to the northern Quebec, and 15 closed very often. 28 megahertz closed many years already. I cannot operate 28 at all. This is like very good example that if you locate it on the equator, you have very big probability to get very high result in the competition.
so we should all be moving to the equator area.
No, it's because when I last year, or I should say the year prior to that, when I was in Mesa, we were they were getting, holy geez, the signals were coming in so nice, and the further, well, they're closer to the equator than we are here in Ontario.
Yep.
So then on Saturdays they get together and in the morning and go through night, and the context that they were getting was unbelievable. Like I was so surprised, and with the minimals, the antennas were minimum antennas. They weren't the antennas that we're using here in Canada to get the signal.
Looks like you're going to get an HF rig in your mobile code when you get.
Well, I'm working on that, and I'm working on a dipole antenna that you know that will work here, and as well as it'll work, let's say in Mesa. But I haven't yet made up my mind on what I'm going to do or what I'm going to get yet. I'm still picking brains, eh? I'm going to probably send a lot of emails to Igor in the upcoming week.
I suspect to be on Manitoulin in next 2 months for the preparation.
Oh yeah, I'll be there. I'll be like a little puppy dog hanging on your tail, fishing your memory.
And if you have any questions, I will be happy to answer. And also, as far good antenna will be installed, like Yagi on 40 for 80, I guess, it will be very visible to see difference, because proper antenna, this is very important. And
well, that's what I'm looking. I'm looking for that one antenna that does all, and I know it's hard to find.
and also
and at the right altitude as well, the right level. Yep.
So,
also, if you have difficulties with selection antenna to your property, maybe I can give you an advice.
Well, that's what I'm looking for. That kind of information.
Well, talking about antennas and stuff, let me just share this with you guys. You know how I've been doing different presentations for clubs across Canada and sharing information. And one of the things that I said at the annual general meeting is to bring in different people with information. I just got this presentation sent to me. I'm going to get a hold of this gentleman and see if he'll come and do a presentation for our club. He did this with the Ottawa group last week. His name's Ron Swartz, V3VN. Do you know him at all, Igor?
Yeah, definitely. He is member of Contest Club Ontario. I can see. I did see this guy every CCO meeting up on COVID, up to COVID story has been started.
Right. Well, just take a quick. I'm not going to steal his thunder, but anybody thinking of putting up a antenna farm, have a look at this stuff that Ron has done. He went into a bit of his history and how he went through, but he's one of these big contesters like Igor. There's a tower for you with a couple of Yagi antennas on top like that. Anyway, and he's gone through his career and talked about some of his equipment and using a K2 or K3 there radio. Anyway, as he progressed, he started getting bigger towers and bigger antennas as contesting took. There's his cabling and some of his tower equipment that he gathered. And then it was time to move. He bought some property and he eventually retired. And some aerial footage. He lives outside of Ottawa. And anyway, he started putting together his antenna farm. So here he's got, I forget, 150-foot tower, another 80-foot tower, another one here, and that with it. I haven't seen the presentation, so I don't want to steal it away from him. But and he talks about retirement is a full-time job now because he's got all these towers. This is his site plan of his property with erecting the big towers and then digging the holes. You talk about having to put stuff together and getting people in to climb and putting up cranes and all kinds of stuff, guided towers and how to anchor them properly, and even putting it up the 150-foot tower. Imagine a 150-foot tower in your backyard,
Wow.
right? But this is what he does, and bringing in the bulldozers and the cement mixers and the backhoes and putting all this stuff together.
Well, I take it he's single now.
Yeah, well, I guess his wife puts up with him, you know. I mean, it's what you get into, right? It's
That's got to be true love.
yeah, well, this is what he, and you know what? Some of these contesters, Igor will tell you, because he's, you know, he meets a lot of these guys around the world, and, you know, they won't have anything less than working something like this, because this, you know, with the propagation not being as great as it was, you know, getting in and winning these contests, if Igor wasn't here and putting and designing those antennas and running, you know, the amplifier at times, he wouldn't win these awards, because he's competing against people like this that go and spend the money and, you know, put up these type of serious antennas. Like, this isn't just an afternoon project of putting a tower up, you know. I mean, look at the size of this thing.
That
Throw money at it.
looks like a broadcast tower.
Well, yeah.
Reused. My first tower was 50 foot of that stuff, and it's
Yeah.
really solid.
Oh yeah. Well, 12,000 feet of heliax. Like, I mean, you know how much RMI costs just to put that antenna up. But there's an oversight of his house. He must have had a drone or something there. But look at the tower and the other tower here, and
Better have radials on that thing.
Oh, he
Yeah.
does.
Yeah.
He's got it all
150
professionally
feet.
done.
Wow.
And there's you know, how his lobes and bands work, and that with it. So I'll see if I can't get him to come and do a presentation for us. I mean, this is the extreme. The average ham wouldn't be able to afford or go to this this segment, but you know, there's your base. You talk about cement, just digging a hole and pouring it in
What's
there.
his call letters again, Al?
Victor Echo 3, Victor Nancy.
Victor Nancy. And there's, you know, there's
Incredible.
don't let this happen to you, right? So
Yeah.
I mean, things can happen very quickly, but yeah, he's got a good setup there for sure. And you know, look at these type of you
He's
know,
doing
all
computer
the beams.
modeling as well.
Yeah, it's quite there's your switching, right? Like, I've seen Igor with his equipment, and it looks very similar to this that he puts together, so that you can switch and phase and put all this stuff together. It's a big job. There's no doubt about it. And you know, some of the stuff that you throw it together and put it together. You know, raising a Yagi isn't just a simple feat. Imagine a big Yagi like that. You got to have a rotator and tower to be able to manage, and you know, and then you got to make sure it is all secure, because a big windstorm, after spending all that money, you don't want it tumbling down on you either.
Yeah, a couple of days ago, we had quite a bit of wind here. Holy geez,
Yep.
boy, it was really blowing.
Yeah,
60,
exactly.
70 kilometers an hour, eh?
Yeah, for sure. There he is.
A question,
there.
Al?
Yeah, go ahead. There's his system. Yes, go. Rob, was it? Sorry.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Robert in Pembroke here.
Yeah.
Just wondering about Foursquare. There's an amateur in Pembroke here that's getting rid of it. He's moving in with his daughter, and he's taking down his station, VE3WQ. I don't know whether Igor ever heard of him, or he was popular on RTTY for a long time, I guess. And but Foursquare, what type of antenna? How good is the? It was Foursquare for 40 meters.
I see. Okay. Foursquare, this is 4-phased verticals. This is a very effective antenna, very easy to install. For 40 meters, it will be 4 verticals, 10 meters each. This is possible to install for the half of the day. And this antenna giving possibility to transmit in any of 4 directions. Antenna is very effective. I have been using this antenna since 2007. To my opinion, this is one from the best antennas for the 40 meters, because not everybody can install 3 elements Yagi on 20 meters tower. However, 4 elements square, 4 elements phased verticals for square, it's very close to 3 elements Yagi. I did this antenna many times for the different bands, 40, 80, 160, etc., etc. And if you're really interested in, and I can help you to produce this antenna and explain how to do, what you need to produce, how better to prepare, and also size of the property for this antenna. This is not too big. You can imagine. This is like square with approximately 10 meters, maybe a little bit more, because 10 meters, this is diagonal between like verticals. It should be 10 meters, but square will be a little bit bigger than 10 meters, a little bit bigger than 10 meters side of the square. And from this square, you will need to put 10 meters radials. So you can see this property not too big. What I have to say, verticals likes space. Like verticals not possible to install between 2 homes, for example, 2 houses,
Right.
or near like big production storage or something like that. In this case, antenna will
What about
work not.
trees? What about trees?
This is depends how much trees, how far. Like if it will be a standalone tree, this is fine. If it will be forest, like behind your property, maybe this is not too good, because inside of the tree is water, and during winter time this water is going to froze. It may be a little bit attenuating signal in this direction. Antenna is very directional. With help of the switching, you can change one from the 4 direction. And if you have serious idea to produce this antenna, I'm really help you, because I did such antenna many times, and I know how to produce, how to tune, etc., etc.
I might get the antenna from him. It would be a little bit of work there to take it all down. He has a lot of ground radials around each of the verticals to improve the antenna, I guess. Thanks, Igor.
Igor, tell him what size of vehicle you transport all of this in.
So, okay, during the last 15 years, I did more than 60 expeditions, 60. And mostly of them, this is Northern Ontario and Northern Quebec. You can imagine, this is full contest radio, like 2 transceivers, 2 amplifiers, a lot of the antennas, like Spider Beam on 20, 15, 10, 4 element phased verticals on 40, some on 80, etc., like aluminum pipes, couple 100 meters, coax cables, couple 100 meters in the trunk. I have been using Toyota Camry, and it's possible to insert inside of the car, but I need to spend 1 day to insert everything inside and 1 day to take out from outside, because it's possible to insert inside, but you don't have any cubical decimeter inside of the car.
Yeah.
It's possible. And also you have to optimize your stuff. For example, all my pipes like telescopic. It's possible to insert each other inside. In this case, you can save your space inside of the car.
It's like Tetris. Oh my
Thanks.
God, he pulls up and, you know, everything is just placed in there. He's got it down to a science. So it's pretty cool. So, all right. Well, any further questions for Igor? Thanks again, Igor, so much for sharing that information.
Well, that antenna
thanks,
system
Ian.
has
Thanks.
certainly given him the results
Oh,
too. He's been #1 or in the top 3 quite a number of times
yeah,
in
absolutely.
contesting.
It's a science. There's no doubt about it. Contesting, you know, until Igor came along, and I've had the pleasure to watch him and see how he sets up things and that, you know, I had no idea. I mean, I've got my dipoles off my towers here, and it's just flipping on the rig and going fishing. You know, you put on a frequency and hope you can catch something out there. You know, it's but Igor knows the exact time, what frequency, and bang, as soon as he transmits, it just comes back like unbelievable. So, you know, there is a science, and it's a whole facet of amateur radio that a lot of us don't really understand. And it's great to be able to share that information. So we do appreciate it, Igor, and we look forward. Let's hope in another 2 months from now, when Canada Day comes around, we'll all be able to get together and everything's going to be good. So that's great. So thank you for all of that.
Thank you for everybody.
Okay.
Thanks, Igor. Great presentation.
I'm going to bed.
I'm sorry.
I'm going to bed now. Thank you very much.
Oh, you're going to bed. Okay, Carl. All right. I'm sorry I didn't quite hear you there. So, all right. Well, yes. Thank you. And you take care, and all my best to Lourdes there. And great that you could join us again this week, for sure.
Thank you, Igor. A lot of those things. When I was very physical, and still got on top of my carport plenty of aluminium tubes and boxes and stuff like this, which I used to make my own antennas. So, and we'd go out and make. I think Australia does it anyway. But we had a competition, and you've got to go out and set it all up in bush, for better words. And you can find a nice old place where someone burned out, something like that. Good. But other than that, you've got to clear out your block of land and put up. And we're only allowed to put up, and that's where when I see some of the antennas all around the world, we're at home, we're only allowed to put up a maximum of 10 meters from the ground to the top. So where you are, you've got to be pretty lucky to get something, and you have gates with locks on, falls over, it doesn't fall on the person's house next door, all sorts of stuff that would go with it. But it was, still is. Old age has got me, I'm afraid to say. Anyway, I'm going to say 73 years and wish you all the best and hope anyway, we'll see you all again next time. Thank you.
Thank you,
7-3,
Carl. 73.
Yeah,
care.
take care, caller. We'll
Take
send you an invite for next week for sure. Take care.